the important thing about the 10% shift is that we're conveying to people that small incremental shifts in their behavior can make a big difference.
The message is simple. When you spend local, your money stays local. Whether you're shopping for food, grabbing a quick item from the store, or searching for a local service provider, a simple shift in the way you spend can help support and improve the quality of life for your local community.
Every time you spend $100, roughly 43 to 45 of those dollars will stay in your community and recirculate if you choose to spend them at a locally owned business. If you take that same $100 and spend it at a non-local corporate chain store, you know only $13 is going to stay. That money just leaves your community almost entirely.
The statewide 10% shift campaign, spearheaded by Local First Arizona, is getting the word out that making the simple choice of shifting 10% of your spending to a local business can have a big impact.
What we're saying is let's all be mindful of where our money goes when we spend it, and understand the local business then in turn is going to have a local accountant or graphic designer or web developer, and that money stays and recirculates in our local economy and creates additional jobs. And so if we're mindful of that and we understand that small changes make big shifts, then you can get more people on board. I'm saying small, simple things: finding a local mechanic, getting a local haircut, choosing a locally owned theater, a bookstore. Anything you can do, simple things.
And this isn't just for consumers. A big component of the campaign is focused on businesses shifting 10% of their spending by taking a closer look at how they source products and services.
It instinctively made so much sense, right? That being able to keep those dollars here locally, not just for the business necessarily, but all the ancillary businesses that feed off of them, the tax accountants, the lawyers.
Adam Goodman's third-generation office furniture business made some big changes after learning about the initiative.
I sat down with our management team to talk about who our suppliers are that we do business with. We try to figure out what are the quickest things we can do to shift. And we made those shifts, like office supplies. We're buying office supplies from a big box company. Well, there's no excuse for that, right? Who knows where I have no idea where they're headquartered. I have no idea how they're spending their money. I have no idea what cultural organizations they support and the nonprofits they support.
When Adam and his team started looking at where they were spending the most money, namely with their furniture suppliers, they realized most of them were located far away in the Midwest. Then they thought of their old friend and former salesperson, Keith McLean, who had recently left Goodman's after 12 years with the company to pursue his entrepreneurial dream.
I knew nothing about making furniture.
But he knew a lot about selling furniture when he bought a local Phoenix wood shop. Adam realized that they had an opportunity to have a positive impact on Keith's new business by making an effort to shift some of their custom-made furniture manufacturing to him.
There's a lot of advantages for us and for them. You know, they can get things quicker. We're here if anything goes wrong with it, or if it needs to be fixed, or if we need to go measure before we build it.
When we decided to commit ourselves to this 10% shift, one of the principles we needed to do was we want to keep the cost the same. Hopefully we'll save a little bit of money. We may have to pay a bit of a premium, and we figured it was going to balance out somewhere in there like that. And I'm happy to say, in the case of Keith, for example, it has lowered our costs. As you can imagine, shipping a conference table from Indiana to Phoenix adds a bit of the cost to it, as opposed to, you know, from 35th Avenue to 3rd Street, right? That's a big difference. And so, yes, we have been able to realize some savings and pass them right along to our customers.
Kimber Lanning has owned her business, Stinkweed Records, since she was 19. Now, nearly 30 years later, she too has made the effort to reevaluate how she spends locally. So how did she, the founder of Local First and the biggest cheerleader for the 10% shift campaign in Arizona, make the shift for her business?
So here at my record store, when I started, the first loan that I got was with a locally owned bank at the time that then merged with another big bank and then merged with another bank, and then suddenly my books were with a giant mega bank. And so that was the first thing I went for. It's important for businesses to keep their money in banks that have local decision making, because the big banks, especially in a place like Arizona, there's no one here making those decisions. So if we had more localized decision making, banks that were mandated to lend locally, we would start to see a quicker recovery and a little bit more local growth. So we moved our money.
In Mesa, Arizona, James Christensen runs the local community bank. When he heard about the 10% shift, he took a hard look at all of his vendors so he could better support the community. His shift was purchasing his office supplies, janitorial services, and marketing locally.
A lot more money stays in the community, which is a plus, but just building the relationships and taking that vendor relationship to a whole new level, I think there's so many pluses to shifting locally.
Brandy Lovato at Clean Air Cab also decided to take a closer look at the spending and sourcing at the eco-friendly taxi service.
We went through every vendor that we purchased things from air conditioning replacement, repairs, to buying chairs, to buying coffee supplies and those sort of things. And we did an analysis with Local First, and we found out that we were already 83% local. So what we did was, out of the non-local vendors, we picked 5 of our biggest vendors, I guess you would say, to see what we can shift. And we shifted, I think, 3 of the 5 so far, and still working to do more. I don't know what our final number is, but 83%, I think we're probably up to 85, 86.
For those that we spoke to, the net impact of taking the pledge to make the 10% shift has been better relationships, lower costs, and ultimately a stronger local economy.
It's a win-win for us, it's a win-win for the local community, and we feel great about that.